And this is it. This is the reality of it. That even though something happened so long ago, it took a part of me and it broke a part of me. And I don't think I'll ever get that back. Hello, my name is Debs McLeod on YouTube. I've been a family vlogger and charity fundraiser on YouTube for about 2 years now. And since I started, there was always a story that I wanted to share with you guys, and I didn't know how to share it or when to share it, and I'm not even sure if I'm ready to share it right now, but I do a lot of awareness for a lot of different things, mainly childhood cancer awareness, of course, for my friend Elijah Mainville, who passed away aged 9, and for his Family of Hope vlogs on YouTube. But I also try and raise awareness for things like disabilities and things like, you know, stuff that you deal with being a single mum, because I am a single mum. I don't have a partner, I haven't had a partner in a long time, and that's through choice. But it's come to a stage recently that I've gotten to know you guys a lot more, and as I'm trying to do a lot of things to help you guys and share awareness of you guys' disabilities and things, I realise that I'm not really doing a very good job of sharing awareness for my own illnesses. And I know some of you have been here a long time and you've seen me talk about my folate deficiency and my autoimmune disorder and my cervical cancer scares and things like that. I actually have a condition that I haven't ever spoke about before. In fact, very few people know about it. And not only do very few people know about it, the people that do know about my condition don't know the reasons why I have my condition. The reason I say why is because it's a mental health condition that's inflicted upon people through no fault of their own. I have a condition called PTSD. It is post-traumatic stress disorder, and most commonly it is associated with veterans and military people that have experienced really traumatic event. But the umbrella term PTSD basically covers anything or any person that has been through a traumatic event. It could be a car crash, it could be seeing something happen, it could be something happening to you personally. It literally changes the way you think, and I'm sure my story's common, but like I said, PTSD is more linked with military, and as you know, I'm not in the military. I'm going to explain why, and I just want to throw a couple of things out there before I do. There's some things that's really important that I make clear before I talk about anything else. The very first important thing is what I'm about to tell you I have already discussed with my children. They are fully aware of the situation and they're okay with me telling my story. It's my story to tell at the end of the day. So they're fully aware of the situation. There's not going to be any shocks and surprises, and the people that are in my real life, like my friend Linnell and my mum and dad, they also know the story, and Melody Mainville and Ronnie Mainville know the story. I've never actually shared it publicly with anyone. The second thing I want to make clear is that I am going to discuss sensitive issues. I'm going to discuss things that may be triggering for some people, so I want to just make sure that you guys are aware that if there's certain subjects or things that you might be sensitive or might trigger PTSD in yourself, then just be aware of that, and at any point if it's too much for you, you're more than welcome to stop watching. The third thing I want to make clear is that I'm not getting paid for this video. I'm not putting this video up for subs or for views or for anything else other than sharing my story and creating awareness about situations and maybe reaching somebody or showing somebody that might be going through similar that it's relatable. So I'm just going to get straight into it. I can only explain it the way that I can explain it, so if there's times where I might stutter or get upset or seem like I'm not making a lot of sense, then I apologise, but I can only tell it how I can tell it. It's my story to tell and I'm ready to share it. So when I was 19 years old, I had my son, and he was just amazing at being a baby. He was the most wonderful baby in the world. I had a traumatic pregnancy. I was young, I was silly. My son's dad ended up, we broke up and he met somebody else before I was even in labour. We kept and maintained a great relationship on a level for Stuart, for my son, and it worked great. Sometimes we fell out, sometimes we didn't, but I cannot fault him. He's been a great dad. When my son was 10 weeks old, I met Abby's dad. And I'm not going to say names, but obviously she knows who it is. And as I said, I've spoke to her about it and everything is fully aware now. So in 2004, I met, we're going to call him Mr. A. So I met Mr. A when my son was 10 weeks old. It was on my first night out since I had my son. I was only 19, as I said, just about to turn 20. And I went a night out with my friend and we were in a club and we were having a little dance. And a song came on, Pretty Green Eyes, at the time, and I was dancing. And my friend spun me around, and when I spin around, I knocked into this guy, Mr. A. And it's quite cute. He was nice. And we just got chatting, as you do. Had a wee dance, sat down, had a little drink. Within a week, he moved in with me. Now, being a much older, wiser person, I'm like, of course, that was extremely stupid. But I think at the time, I was living on my own, I had a new baby, I just needed somebody, I think, and I accepted the first thing that came my way. So everything was fine, we got on, that was okay, and I became pregnant with my daughter. And very quickly, over the period of being pregnant and over the period of up until my daughter was about 2 years old, Mr. A developed a very nasty habit of being violent. And On one occasion, I had been thrown at the bottom of the stairs and held down on top of my head with lots of pressure. Another time, I was punched in the side of the ribs. I was grabbed by my face where I had bruises. I was hit. I was kicked. I was thrown. I had my bank card snapped in half so that I couldn't spend money. I would be called every name under the sun. I was a bitch, I was a cow, I was a tramp. I was just disgusting. Who would want me? I was damaged goods. I had a PlayStation controller thrown at my face, hit off my face. I had a rolled up newspaper smacked in my face like a baseball bat. The kids were present during some of this, to the point where I had to call police. He would threaten to kill himself. He would cut himself with razor blades on his face. He would threaten to cut himself all the time. He done many bad things, and on one particular instance when I was early pregnant and I was very sick, I had a really bad tummy bug, gastric enteritis, gastric flu, and I just could not stop throwing up. And obviously I was pregnant as well, so I was lying in my bed and my son was downstairs in his playpen and Mr. A was looking after him. And I remember he came up the stairs and he said that he wanted to sleep with me, and I made it clear that I didn't want to, and he insisted, and I told him I can't, I'm not well, I can't even move an inch, otherwise I'm going to throw up. I was really extremely sick. And he became so persistent that he continued to do it regardless. And I lay there silently and I was sobbing. I had tears streaming down my face because I knew exactly what was happening. And afterwards he got up and he burst into tears and he was crying his heart out and begging me, "Oh my God, did I just do that to you? I'm so sorry, I'm such a bad person, I can't believe I just done that." And I just didn't say anything. I somehow felt at that time that maybe I was being unfair. You know, I was pregnant to him, he was looking after my son when I was sick. And I thought that was fine. And in amongst that, he was cheating on me. He caught an STD. He got another girl pregnant. And it didn't matter what I said or thought about him, he would still just keep making excuses and keep coming back. He would scream at me in the middle of the street. I remember one time I was trying to leave and I had my son in my arms, I was pregnant, and he took Stuart out of my arms and told me that I would never see him again, and it wasn't even his kid. He came to the doctors with me, told the doctors that he had a problem, that he couldn't stop hitting me and that he wanted help. Again, I just feel like it was more manipulation to keep me thinking that he really wanted to change. when I had my daughter, the night I went into labour, he'd pushed me onto the couch. I'd hit myself off a big tub of paint because I was decorating my flat at the time, and I went into labour. And whilst I was waiting in pain for the ambulance to come and get me on the Thursday night, he was laid in bed and told me that he couldn't move because he felt sick. I went to hospital myself that night, and the next day they sent me home. We went to his mum's house, my waters broke, we went back into hospital, I had my daughter. We went back to his mum's house because she lived much closer to the hospital than where I lived at the time. And that same day he got into a fight with his mum, and he threw my daughter's tub of milk at their dog, and I couldn't be around that. Obviously I just had my baby, and so I carried my son and a double buggy and my brand new baby daughter and all the gifts and changing bags down 3 flights of stairs and burst open 2 of my stitches on my cesarean in the process, and I had to go and stay with a friend that lived nearby until I was well enough to come home. And even after all of that, I still took him back. Her first Christmas, on Christmas Eve, he spent it with another girl. He didn't actually come home. I went through to find him on Boxing Day and found his clothes with makeup all over it because he'd spent Christmas night with another girl on his daughter's first Christmas. And that basically just continued a long list of being abused and being violated and being hurt, and none of my family knew at the time. I became very isolated from everybody, which I think was part of his plan anyway, and it was made so that I would depend on his family a lot because at the time I didn't particularly get on with my family, but that's nothing to do with anything. And I was always made to feel like I owed something to his family, as if they had some sort of hold over me. Eventually, when Abby was about 2, found the strength to leave after we broke up for a little while, but he would still come through and I would let him see the kids. That was never a thing. It's like, that's, you know, he was being dad to Stuart at the time and he was Abby's dad, and I would let him come through. But then I found out he would be hiding behind my flat and he would be watching who was coming in and out of my house. And if I was going out the night that he was due to have them, I would have them in the buggy with their jackets on waiting to go, and he would come out, and if I told him I was going out that night or if there was anything that triggered an argument, he would literally just walk out the door and say, "Screw you, I'm not taking them." One time on that particular occasion, he opened packets of food, pasta and things, and threw it all over my house to the point where it was just constant torture. He stole from a local store that I lived right above, that I knew everybody, they were my friends, and he would go in and steal from them. I worked in a chip shop downstairs from where I lived, and there was time where he beat me up so hard and I cried so loud that the staff in the chip shop had to come up to see who was crying. And I think that was the time that he hit the front door, my head in the front door, and I had bruises all down the side of my face and down the side of my leg, and I lost my job because of it. There was times that he would say he would watch the kids so that I could go to work. He didn't work, and right when I was due to go out to work, he would then say, "Screw you, I'm not watching them," and walk out the door. He would constantly lie about where he would be. In fact, one day when Abby was about 6 weeks old, he wanted to take her out for the day, and instead of taking her out for the day somewhere nice, he took her to a girl's house that he was seen behind my back. So they had a lovely day together. And eventually I managed to find the strength to escape and get away from him, and I did, and he never contacted me for a long time. And then there was times over the years where he kind of came back and wanted to see Abby, and then other times he would just disappear, and I tried to meet him, I tried to arrange dates. There was just, it wasn't working, so I had to put a stop to it. That happened quite recently. Quite recently he wanted to get in touch with the kids, with Abby, and I was allowing it to happen at his mum's house, and he wasn't allowed to have her overnight at his house. That was one of my rules. And unfortunately they all felt the need to bring up everything from the past. They said that they were going to tell Abby that I was a horrible mum, and that it was just lies, that I was making up stories. I have diaries, years of records about everything he done to me. I have doctors' records, police records, I can prove it. I'm currently in the situation, I don't know what to do. And I'm really stressed over it. And the kids now know. I wanted to wait till they were old enough to understand. I never ever wanted to let Abby know what was going on, but it's came to a position where I've got no choice now. And they want me to report the things to the police, and my friends are supporting me and they want me to report it to the police, but right now I don't know what I want to do, because it's right now that it's all kind of come out, and this is kind of why I'm doing this video, is because I want to have it out there, my words. I don't want anybody to think anything. I want to be able to share that this is my truth, this is my reality. There's nobody that can tell me it's wrong. I'm not misleading anybody, I'm not giving inaccurate information. Everything I'm saying in this video is what's happened, and if I can remember more, I wish I could. But because of all of that, I have PTSD. I was diagnosed with PTSD through repeated emotional, sexual and physical trauma. That means I can't sleep at night, my body feels the darkness. When I sleep, my PTSD symptoms come out. I do what I call replays, and when I have nightmares, it's not made up nightmares, you know, a big evil bunny rabbit chasing you, or it's flashbacks. It's replays of events that I already went through. And so I don't sleep at night. I get to call it insomnia, or I get to just joke and say I'm a night owl. My body is conditioned, my brain is conditioned to not want to sleep at all. So I can't sleep until I'm physically exhausted, and then I have no choice. It's had an impact on my health. It is recognised that it is a thing that changes the chemical makeup in your brain. I react to things quickly, I have a short temper, I shout a lot, I get angry, I feel very hurt, I feel empathy with anybody that has injustice in this world. And I feel ashamed. I didn't want to be the person that grew up to be an abuse victim. And when I hear people call me a survivor, there is so many things that come with dealing with trauma and abuse, and there's so many things that come with having PTSD. You judge everybody, you don't trust anybody, you second guess every single word that somebody tells you. You're scared to go out. I don't go out, I don't travel outside my hometown, I don't get buses, I get taxis everywhere. I don't go out at night, I don't drink alcohol, I don't go to places where I may feel threatened. When I do have nightmares or when I do fall asleep, I grind my teeth really hard to the point that my jaw is sore. I throw off my jewellery, I scratch myself, I shout, I scream, I choke. My kids need to listen to that. And I'm dealing with that right now. When I get stressed, it triggers it. And I tried to explain this to my kids today. It doesn't matter what you're stressed about. It could be that you have a bit of the cold like I do. It could be that somebody said something that slightly annoyed you. But the way my makeup in my brain is, when I'm stressed or when I see something that reminds me of what I've been through, my brain brings all of it to the front. So to me, in my head, these things didn't happen 10, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. These things, to me, it feels like it just happened because I relive it constantly when I'm stressed and when I go to sleep. I'm sharing this because I want people to know that I can be the most positive person and the most loving person and the most genuine person. And all you guys that are here for me, my dreamers, is because you make my world better. You guys help this. The Mainvilles helped this because a couple of years ago I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to be here anymore, and the Mainvilles helped me, personally helped me, and I owe everything to them, and I owe it to myself to make my life the best it can be, because my past and the things that I went through will not define me. I'm not a survivor, I'm not a victim, because it's disgusting to feel like a victim, and it's a shameful thing to be called a survivor. I just live. And I live for the Mainvilles, and I live for you guys, and I live for the people that are going through bad things. It's you guys, the Mainvilles, my kids. I live for you guys. I don't live for me because I don't feel like there's much of me left. I don't even know who I am. I've had anxiety management, I've had counselling, I'm on medication. I'm doing all the things I can to make myself feel better. But this moment right now is a trigger, it is a PTSD episode. It's triggered by feeling a lot of stress and pressure for the last 2 weeks, which I've been trying to keep from you guys. And I'm not well. But I'm always going to have hope. Never giving that up, because they can take as much of me as they want. I'm not taking my ability to love and my ability to feel love. Bottom line. So I'm gonna go. I don't know when I'm going to be back on YouTube. I could come back tomorrow and psycho and be the best, happiest person in the world. I don't know. But I needed to do this. I just needed to know. Because I can't hide anymore. It's affecting my personal relationships with people. And I don't know how to explain to them why I do things the way I do, or why I act the way I do. So this is the best way that I can just put everything to rest. Share awareness, be honest, let you guys know what's going on, tell my story, and hope that it helps somebody. If you're in that situation right now, please go get help, because it will stay with you for a lot longer than what you realise. Just please, if you're in that situation, please get help. Any way that you can, just please.